Sure, Congressman, there's something else in the news today I wanted to get you on, and that is the House January 6th committee and the vote to recommend that former Chief of Staff Mark Meadows be charged with criminal contempt for refusing to testify. The thing that came out today that's getting a lot of news is the multiple text messages to Meadows from not only several Fox News hosts, including Laura Ingraham and Brian Kilmeade, Sean Hannity as well, but also involving his own son, Don Jr., urging Meadows to step in and get then President Trump to stop the Capitol riot. You were on the House floor at the time, Congressman. Are you upset that you knew all these people were asking for help and it didn't come?
There were a lot of people asking for help. The time when it was going on, anyone that did damage should be prosecuted. The situation with Mark Meadows and holding him through a House committee in contempt at a time when he has a court case going on to find out what information he can give or can't give and what falls under executive privilege. So this is all pending right now. But this goes to show, unfortunately, what we have seen since this first began. Remember when this committee was formed, and whenever the recommendations came from the Republican side of the aisle for the first time in our history, when a special investigative committee was put together, the Speaker refused to take the members that were recommended by the minority leader. So because of that, this is it seems to be nothing more than a political show that keeps going on.
Well, you do have two members. You have two conservative members on it, Congressman, in Adam Kinzinger.
No, you have two members. Let's be clear about that. You have two members that had already had a axe to grind against the former president.
Well, they've been critical, that's for sure. I don't know, but you could argue that Kinzinger has voted with former President Trump 96 or 7% of the time. Anyway, let's get to the point, though, Congressman. I'm just wondering if we've talked about your military service. You're a retired Marine. If you're under fire, pinned down for 3 hours before the commander sent anyone, how is this different?
Well, let me explain this. There was a lot of things going on at the time. Let's do the investigation. There are a lot of other areas where we're doing the investigation and a lot of other committees doing the investigation, not one that's looking to just make a political statement. That's the problem with this committee.
Aren't they just trying to get to the bottom of what happened? I guess that's my question. I mean, why not just get this over with, Congressman?
No, I don't.
Pull the Band-Aid off and say, here's what happened, let's move on.
Here's why I don't believe that. The reason I don't believe that is, if that was a case where we're really trying to get to what happened and not just make political hay, then they would have allowed for our members who the leader of our side of the aisle recommended to be put on committee.
Well, they'd have called the same people, wouldn't they?
So you don't have a balance. You don't have a balance.
They would have called the same people.
You don't have a balance.
You think Meadows would have testified if you had gotten those two people on the committee?
They would have. Here's the thing. As I said before, as far as the Meadows situation right now, there is a court case pending on what falls under executive privilege and what doesn't. Regardless of how I feel, how the president should have or not have, or what should have been said, I knew where I was at the time and what I was dealing with. And I'm going to tell you, I want it fully investigated, but I don't want it to be a political dog and pony show, because the political dog and pony shows is what caused us to have a lot of this problem in the first place. We got to calm this down and actually work together. And under the situation that they're doing right now, this is nothing more than a court, not to say a kangaroo court, but a court where you have people stacked against not wanting truth. They're just wanting to grind an axe. And you can say that the two members on that committee were in support at times of Donald Trump's policies. They were not in support of Donald Trump. They had already had a very, very large clash with him before any of this took place.
So are you saying that the president should have acted then, and these texts prove that out? They were calling for him to act, even your fellow congressman?
I don't know. We'll see that in time. I mean, there were many of us asking for people to get involved, but we also want to find out, why was it that certain key people turned down receiving National Guard 2 and 3 days before? Why was that not taken care of? when it was going to be granted to them.
Right.
There's a whole lot of investigation on all of the sides of this.
But there are some who aren't. They're not willing to test. Some of the key players aren't willing to testify. So I guess they have enough information, and Meadows has certainly given them enough documents as well to potentially get to the bottom of it.
Sure.
Yeah, Congressman Mike Bost, again, it's good to see you, and I do appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much for having me on.
All right, take care.
All right, Joe, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.